What's up? Thank you for joining so late.
All right, guys, here we are. Is this the first ever interview with Iron Serpent? I believe.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
My pleasure. I'm Human the Hoofed Beast. I'm here with the Reaper and the DeathSlinger. And we're going to talk about their new fucking alliance and the new songs they have that are going to be fucking out of this world doom metal for us. And maybe some other flavors we'll learn about. I've only heard the snippet that many of you others may have heard today as they've dropped a little flavor, a little bit of a taste for us. But we're going to find out about these guys, what's going on. We're going to ask a bunch of questions and kind of so we can hear about this new fucking, you guys calling it a band or a project first?
Oh, it's a new band. It's like a side project for the two of us.
So,
but yeah, before we get to the questions here, let's go ahead and run that snippet.
Forgotten.
Just a taste.
oh, all right. Hell yeah. So I'm sure many of us who have been familiar with some of your previous work, we kind of know, I can hear a bit of that. I can hear the DeathSlinger's tone and the kind of doomy Sabbath-laden stuff. I can hear Reaper kind of filling in the spaces so artistically, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
So first question up. Here we are with Iron Serpent, minus the bassist tonight, but I'm sure.
Yes, she's a little under the weather this evening, but Mischief will definitely be with us in the near future. So, as she is going to be filling in the bass duties.
All right. So, I'm expecting some maybe Geezer Butler-ish.
One can only hope. I mean, that's some big shoes to fill, but you know, she's working hard at it. She's been kicking ass with the songs that we got thus far. So, you know, it's just going to be a matter of time, especially when we play live. So,
you know what? When I heard the little snippet that you've written, you guys both probably know our friend Babylon. What the fuck? I just fucking forgot it. You know, Babylon, the dude he's the king of tone for me, especially.
Oh yeah.
Tone, and he plays with every fucking pedal that there is. That's related to doom and the dirt and the filth and the sludge that we find in doom metal.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Anyways, I think Mr. Babylon could maybe let you guys borrow a pedal for that bass if you don't already have that tone dialed in.
Oh, that would be fun.
It's a
Oh, yeah.
master at
Plus,
that.
I also got the Sabracadabra she could
Yep.
use. Oh, yeah. That's a
All
great guitar and bass pedal.
Ooh. All right, guys. So who exhumed this? Who birthed this and brought it forth out of the depths and the deepest, darkest, coldest, but also maybe warmest cave or cauldron from hell?
Well,
It's a hell of a
that's a
story.
funny
I'll tell
question
you
you
that.
asked. It was actually my idea, my doing. We were recording songs. At first, these were a lot of songs that Black Tar didn't want to use, and I was kind of tired of them being kind of, pushed off to the side. We're not going to touch this. We're not going to do it. It's not what we're doing. This is not what we're going to do right now. I had a lot of heart into those songs and a lot of, just a lot of fun writing them. And it's very personal, a lot of these songs, because all the lyrics that have been to the songs of this EP so far have been written by me, other than one track, which was kind of written between me and Reaper there. We kind of decided how the one song was going to sound, and that's a really cool one if you really want a heavy sludge too, and that's a nice one that you'll get to hear at some point. But yeah, these songs were Black Tar tracks that were going to be on the new record for Black Tar, but sadly after the departure of Reaper from, you know, Black Tar, and professionally, we didn't use those tracks, and we decided to take them. And I said, you know what, dude, fuck that. I'm taking this, and we're making a fucking band out of it. I don't care what you say. You ain't out of the game yet. All right, we're doing this.
Oh man, I just remember when I was getting ready for work one day, and DeathSlinger's like, I'm gonna send you something here. I want you to listen to it. Tell me what you think. And I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe he's been working on some new riffs. And so it ends up being, one of the tracks. I've been calling them the lost tracks because I was kind of under the impression that it was going to just like end up in a can somewhere. But luckily I saved, all the tracks that we had laid that day in the studio. And it had vocals on it, and it was mixed and mastered by the DeathSlinger. And I said, holy shit, we got some. And fucking blown away. And because I still up to this point, I've been working with Kingside Records through Reaper's Underground Productions as I manage a lot of the bands for the label. And I was like, hey, gotta hear these songs. Gabe is the CEO, and I'm like, I think he's gonna fucking dig what he hears. And sure as shit, we just signed a contract with him last week after sending him just one fucking track from this upcoming EP that we're working on, and he was just fucking ecstatic about it.
So why are you guys feeling like an EP instead of a full length?
Because we kind of feel like this is a good start. These songs are basically already finished.
Sure. Okay, got it.
But and DeathSlinger, if you want to go ahead and tell them about the possibility of a concept
album. Yes. There is a the EP was supposed to be more of just like an introduction of something new to come, a new idea, a new beginning, a new, it's not the end of me and him working together. That's not the end. We're just only beginning. That's kind of what this whole thing of like the EP was starting. But there's a concept album idea that we were talking about, and there's a lot of cool things being put into it, and I can already tell you the album name for the concept album is going to be The Elder Ones, and it's going to be about elder gods, fantasy shit about like bastard wizards and like evil creatures and shit. It's just really cool stuff that um, we like to talk about and tell stories of. But it's going to be kind of like a King Diamond thing. It's going to tell you the beginning of the story. We're going to get through it all the way to the very end.
Yeah,
Not
I mean, there's
That's kind
so
of what we
much
want to
great
do with that.
lore. You know, so many people are bedazzled by H.P. Lovecraft and stuff like that, which is
For
kind
sure.
of synonymous with Doom anyway. But you know, we're kind of like going into like the depths of these older legends and to bring something that's never been done before. It's not just your run of the mill, you know, Doom band that talks about the same old shit. Um, you know, and this is a more blackened version. You know, there's not a whole lot of
Hmm.
melodicism that goes into the vocals. And DeathSlinger's voice is, you know, if you remember back to the EP Old Gods Awaken, there was a track on there that he had sang, which is still one of my personal favorites to this day. Serial. That was just kind of like the beginning of like his voice shaping, and you could hear a lot of maturity through the Black Flame album. Now it's like at its peak, and it really shines on that track that you everybody out there in Three Witches Land just got to hear a little bit of. So
Yeah, Very Dirty has really great bite from what I've heard so far.
Oh, of course.
And
we
I'm
just
here.
kind of felt that, you know, these tunes are like beyond the Black Tar era, you know, just in like songwriting, depth, um, groove. Groove is like, you know, the flavor. It's I don't know. It's I'm just so excited about it. It's kind of hard to put it into one sentence.
Way the Deathslinger
For
in the
sure.
little snippet that I received is holding on to the single notes. It's really dark and it's a bit dreary and a little, it sounds a bit sad too, the way he's holding on to those notes. I hear Sabbath in there. I'm like back to 1970 and somebody's doing something really original aside of Sabbath, because it is definitely different than Sabbath as well. I'm hearing a little bit of like late '80s, early '90s, My Dying Bride, and maybe Paradise Lost Gothic album in there a little bit. So, having said that, can you two each
Oh
talk
yeah.
about maybe your personal influences? I know Deathslinger does not like Danzig at all, and I know that Reaper loves Dream Theater. So if you guys could both go on, like, who are your guitar? Who's your guitar hero? Who is? And of course, I'm joking, especially about
Of course.
not liking Danzig and Reaper liking. But can you guys share with the audience uh, what who are your big influence is, and also who are you kind of focusing on for this album? Like, when I write albums, I can list you 3 to 5 different bands that I'm thinking about as I was writing it, not trying to copy, but that I just can't help but be influenced by. So you guys can talk about those influences, please.
Go right ahead there, Death Slinger.
All right. If we're gonna start with vocals first, I would say like the vocal, like um, the vocal ranges and the ideals that I was putting on this record was, I wanted that old school Zach Wild and Black Label when in like the very first album when he's like really raw, because he had
Mhm.
that grit to him, like that really dirty grit. But I wanted to make it more clear. You can understand what I'm saying. You can understand what I'm getting the point across with, and it's also a tribute to Max Cavalera from Sepultura and obviously Soulfly. It was a very big influence for me because ever since I heard Roots, Bloody Roots, that song really kind of made me just want to go like, just scream
Yeah.
that. Just I wanted to do something like that. It's more of a roar. It's like a giant bear on stage just roaring at you. That's kind of what I wanted. Something scary, but at the same time, awesome. And not just him was really the vocal guy for this. A lot of it is, yes, Danzig. Danzig is my dude when it comes to singing cleanly and howling and, just having that power. But this is going to surprise a lot of people because not many people know this, but this album's singing stuff has a lot of like um, I want to say has a lot of like some Dio inspiration from Heaven and Hell and stuff like that. So there's a lot of you won't hear it yet because the song cut out a little too early. But in the chorus, there's a lot
You
of
don't want to give them the
vibrato.
whole bag yet.
Right. There's a lot of vibrato to look forward to like hearing. And the biggest one that's really the kicker is Hansi Kirsch from Blind Guardian. He's always been my favorite vocal commanding an army type sound of voice. I've just always loved that. And another one that's a little hidden is Einar Selvik from Mordruna. His style of just power. I want that, that power to be put out, just that voice that, just puts you through a trance. But yeah, that's the hardest one to decipher. The easiest one is the guitar guys, John Christ, first 4 albums of Danzig, Dimebag Darrell, of course, and Zach Wild. Those are my main axe lords. And Tony Iommi for sure too. He's another axe lord of mine that I just want to
Can't forget Tony.
hold.
Shit.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand at with that.
For me, I think it was pretty evident on the Black Flame album that my influences were kind of like going back to roots. The reason I started playing drums in the first place, a lot of Bill Ward kind of influence, and just the way that he would play to Tony Iommi's riff, and all those classic Sabbath albums. It was like a lot of flavor. There was a little bit of jazz. I mean, even in that little clip we just played there a moment ago, it was very evident, like the just real choppy, like pops. I approached what I thought was going to be the next Black Tar album, just with like a little more back to roots, and I was heavily influenced by the drummer for the band The Sword, and particularly the one album that was very Viking influenced. And of course, the name of the record is escaping me. So, senior moment. But I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about because it was probably their most celebrated record. Just the way the guitar
It's the one that has
was
Freya on
so.
it. Yeah.
What's it called?
It's the one that had the song Freya on it.
Correct. Yes. Like something a winter's something or other. Yeah. Anyway, the album just struck me, just like this newer brand of Doom, mixing old with, new school Doom together. Just so flavorful how the guitars are just the right blend of fuzz, but the fuzz doesn't like overdo everything. There's still some control to the chug. Like you can literally feel every, triple tremolo pick, whatever you want to call it, and very rhythmic. So there's, like you said, he was doing like a lot of the airy kind of like drone type stuff that, you get with, shit. It's funny because I referenced him earlier on a different broadcast, and Neurosis. Neurosis is very like known for leaving a lot of like open chords, open notes, just very ethereal, and that just kind of like allows me to come in and out, feel wise. And I still have to give it to the drummer on the very first Down record. For all the Down fans out there, that record, just the raw sound. I didn't want that overproduced, drum set sound where you got like all the triggers and shit. I wanted a thicker sound, something that just hits you right in the gut. And you can kind of hear it even with the guitar. It's this very raw sounding record. Something that you just take a bite out of. It's not something a lot of people are doing right now. Everyone's trying to outdo each other, so those would be my main influences. And of course, Vinnie Paul's always in my back pocket.
Okay. So as you guys were writing these songs, nobody wants to sound just like another band.
Nope.
Who does? And how is it really unique? How does it separate itself where you can say, hey, this is something new that I'd like you to listen to?
You can take that one, DeathSlinger.
Ooh, that's a really good question, but I do hate to ask you to repeat the beginning of it because you kind of cut out a little bit. I'm sorry. I did not get to hear the full question.
So like anytime we go to create music, we want to be an artist, we want to do our shit. And of course, it's impossible to not be influenced by others. Everybody's done some flavor of something that comes in our cauldron of soup. But like who is it that you can kind of see that you're influenced by in here that people are going to hear, but also what separates you to where somebody can't put their thumb on you and say, yeah, you guys sound just like Down, or you sound just like Danzig or Black Sabbath? Because I hear other things, and I've already given you a few that I can hear.
Right. What separates this from other bands that I really enjoy or that really influenced me on a lot of this writing was the fact that these songs were very emotional, very, very close to heart. A lot of these songs were things that I felt emotionally while playing. Um, I wrote I wrote a couple of the lyrics for most of the songs, but the one that he wrote was more of just it was a commanding, like, raising praise to other things, just like this is, we are going to take the world by storm. That was a really neat song that not a lot of people really talk about anymore. And what I see in a lot of music nowadays is not many people are very true to their emotions, true to their feels, true to what makes them them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, if you can't sit there and you can't enjoy it or feel it, then it's just not for you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of my playing is a little unique because I don't riff, and I don't play like a lot of the great guitar lords or great guitar gods. I don't try to make myself play like that because I have my own way of playing, my own way of writing these songs. And another thing that really keeps the thing, like I said, is just the emotional part. A lot of these songs really came from a very, very big part of me that I gave it out to these songs and said the world needs to hear this because that's what they need to hear. That's what they need to feel. People need to know that it's okay that when you write a song, you can bare your heart for all to see. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to keep it locked away. You don't have to stay true to what you're doing because people are gonna fucking hate you. No, 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 no. When you do something, you gotta fucking feel it, man. If you ain't feeling it, then that ain't rock and roll, man. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that. You gotta really feel what you do, and I feel like that's what makes me different than a lot of these newer bands or older bands that don't really, you know, personalize this music in a way so that it connects to people in the way that you want to. Because if you're like me, I'd like to tell these songs like stories. I like to bring these stories of like people who may not be able to voice their opinions, voice their feelings, voice their every haunting presence that they deal with. I can be the one that opens it up for them, and they're just like, man, I don't know what it is, but I fucking feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's something I really, really, really enjoy about this stuff. So I would say that me being more of myself and us being ourselves is what makes this different.
I would say, from hearing, James Hetfield talk about early Metallica days, I'm talking about 1979, 1980, early Metallica days. This is what they had. They had
Right.
light in a bottle. And when Fenriz talks about early black metal and
Yep.
early Dark Throne, this is what he talks about. The level of sincerity, it comes through. Don't hold it back. Let it the fuck out. People
Right.
get it.
Yeah, I can definitely say that this is a more honest us. Um, uh, just like creative wise, creativity and the writing style that we had with Black Tar Superstar, we were kind of held back. Deathslinger actually kind of touched upon that a little bit. And I have to agree because it's like, you're a band, you're a family, you're a unit. But if 50% of the band is like, this is just not really what we're doing, it's like we have to just push things to the side a little bit. So with this, we're able to really let our darker art, if you will, come out in a very honest way, the way we want to do it. And you could, like I said, just in that the Black Flame album, you could kind of see where a lot of the writing style that you're going to get with Iron Serpent is really coming out now. And it's different. We're not, when we first got going with that band, we, struggling in a genre where everyone is trying to outdo each other or sound the same. Who's got the more Sabbathy sound, more 70-ish, type of thing. And we were able to kind of break that barrier down and give you a mix of new and old school. So,
Great point.
with this, yeah, and it's heavier, but at the root, the thing that really I feel separates us is the groove. You don't get a lot of groove out of Sleep. You know what I mean? Which is like hailed as one of the, the big greatest ever, fucking doom bands. And it's like, nah, we're giving you that chug, that thing that kind of grabs you by the balls and like, kind of shakes you, makes you want to get up and like hurt somebody. And then there's times where it's like, you'll, like he said, feel the emotions that are coming out of it. Just like, just complete honesty in this particular band. And I just love it. We're able to let out a lot of creative ideas that we couldn't do before. And you're just not getting the run of the mill, what they call the American Doom sound, and it's
Sure.
not overproduced, which is I think I talked about this a little bit earlier with you, that I love the rawness of it. It's not so suppressed, if there might be a little bit of what do you call it, static, or uh the feedback and stuff, from the guitar, but it's like all part of the flavor. And the drums are just very earthy sounding to me. I'm using a smaller kit. um you know it may sound like I'm using more, but I'm not. I'm using 4 fucking drums: snare, bass, high tom, 1 floor, 1 china, 1 crash, 1 killer fucking ride cymbal, soul tone cymbals. Quick shout out to them because they're endorsing me, and the type of hats I got. So it's definitely gives you the old school flavor with, it can hang with anything that's out there right now.
Right
And
on.
this part about that song that you heard, that bass tone, that was just like, just like punched, was when I took a very old bass of mine. It's a Linux Washburn bass,
Mhm.
and it's really, really gritty, really old, really grimy, fucking bass guitar that I've had, and I got it from from a good friend of mine Actually, a brother of mine, really good guy. I got the bass from him, and I put it through a Sun cab, and just hit that, just let it ring out, put up the fuzz a bit, but keep it clean so you still understand that it matches. Because even in the preview where the song has that melody of the da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na, the bass follows that and it shines. And it's so great, man. I just love how they both link together with that sound. A lot of cool things for the recording of this session.
So as you guys know the songs right now, are we going to hear a lot of tempo changes? Because you started that track out really slow, and I loved it. Are we going to have any double bass, like getting up to that speed? Or are we going to stay more in the down Danzig, Sabbath, kind of that pace, which is perfectly fine, of course, but just kind of type of flavor. Are we going to be more of like a later Dark Throne kind of tone and kind of hurt, or
The
what
fun
after?
thing is
it's
that
it's always been a signature of mine.
it is.
I feel that, well placed 16th notes, double bass style, only helps to fill some of the holes. Because as you'll hear, as that verse really kicks in, because you only got like a bit of it. I don't want to give too much away, but it's like, it's dun 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 dun, which is like very kind of like downish, kind of like groove. And then he goes into this da 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 da, and I'm going da 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 da. Boom! It's like it fills right under there and lets his tonality shine and those intricate notes. And that's what's so cool about it, because a lot, like DeathSlinger said, and we've all said, a lot of today's music, there's certain instruments that get lost, and with this band, every part shines, not one overcast in the other. We've had a lot of that great success with Pantera, Typo Negative, bands like that, especially Danzig. I always call them the Fab Four, because the first four records were the best. Christ, Eerie, Biscuits, and Danzig. So kind of like in this band, that's what you're kind of getting, the best of all worlds instead of just one. And then the voice just unites it all together.
Right. And there is a surprise I will mention but not give away.
I was gonna say, don't give it all away now.
You're going to see something me and Reaper have never done before. And this is a very, very, because you said about tempo changes, this song's really fast. And I'm talking power metal fast. It's very Blind Guardian-y. That song was really, me coming at it, just throwing as fast as the riff would go. And you might hear some DeathSlinger singing some high-ranged vocals.
Right.
Oh, he can bring the thunder. Don't let him fool you.
Oh, I have range.
Rob Halford or King Diamond ish? That high?
Diamond with a Hansi Kirsch twist.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Actually, funny story. I know this is, I don't want to take too much time, but back in the day when we were in Black Tar all together, there would be times where King Diamond would come on in the PA systems of, playing and everything. And then,
we were hoping.
We were hoping some King Diamond would, come on. And then all of a sudden, I would just, kind of get into it. And I would sing it. And I remember I did the grandma part. Everyone looked at me like, oh my God, why aren't we in a fucking King Diamond cover band?
All right.
And then I'd kick into the get boom. Oh man, we'd take it as far as we could before we gave up. It was awesome.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about your drumming, Reaper, that I've heard and that I've always really liked, and I can tell you have a jazz background.
Oh yeah.
You let the guitar shine. You let the guitar carry that
Has to.
but you're not fucking boring. I always know that you fit in little spaces and really add some spice to it. And I'm not talking about speed metal, blast beat spice, but you're adding really tasteful spice that really supports the riffs. That's what I found in the Black Tar EP and then the Black Flame full album.
And that's kind of the secret to how we write together. The drums and the riff coincide together. They evolve together as a unit, because he's just as rhythmic as at playing the guitar, as I am, on the drums. So I try to mirror a lot of what he's doing. But with this project, it's like I kind of get best of both worlds, where he's playing some of those more simple, spacey kind of parts. And then I can just kind of put a little taste, a little flare, flash here a little bit without overdoing it so you don't get lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that could be very boring for a lot of people.
Yeah. I would argue that you're a master at that. Really, it works when you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it helped. I had a really good jazz professor who taught me not to outshine everyone else. You got to leave those spaces for other tonalities and melodicism to shine through. And like I said, his voice is brutal, it's strong, it's fucking fun, and it doesn't really sound like anyone else. Everyone else is like so focused on either that super guttural shit and then suddenly turn around and sound like they're, I don't know, fucking Christina Aguilera. You know what I mean? It's like, you go from one to the other. It's like, but when he does it, it's smooth. Everything is about transition so that, the listener is really kind of able to get invested in what we're doing and fucking, want to basically, jump in the pit at the same time.
Right. I'm kind of taking a bard like influence on this kind of like
little D&D out there.
Yeah. Throwing my voice in a very powerful way that catches people's attention, like because
Commanding. Yeah.
I've always liked strong voices that shine. Like, I mean, if you can take a note and you hold it out and just your chest expands and it just gets stronger and louder. Oh my God. Some of the best vocalists in the world have that power. And that's something that is very hard to keep, very hard to learn, very hard to run with and create it your own way because so many people try to do that. So you have to really find your own unique way of delivering these vocals. It's you gotta really put the in it. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta put the power behind it. Some elbow grease in there.
And then, like I said, he said you get invested in the story that's being told and you can just kind of step out of reality for a while. And who the fuck doesn't want to do that when they're listening to really good music? It takes you to another place, and we're definitely going to take you to another world, but it ain't going to be pretty and it's dark as fuck.
Right on. So I'd like to segue on with you talking about taking us somewhere else. Tell us, what have you guys got planned for like this month, next month, 6 months from now? What can we look for you? Do you have no pressure on a timeline or, nobody's accountable for this, but tell us, like, what are your goals? What are your plans? I know you've just been signed with Kingside Records, so they're going to give you a hell of a lot of support. But what do you guys got planned?
Well, the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to release a single, to give something to everybody to really latch on to, take a bite out of it while we're finishing up the full EP. I believe it's going to be about 5 songs, of which 3 are finished. We got 2 more to kind of fine tune and do what we need to do. There will be a lyric video. I'd say a lot of this is going to happen after the first of the year because, we're not in a rush to like just throw it out there. So you can definitely be looking for that new single, somewhere between January and February, with a lyric video to go with. And that's one thing we really love about the teaser that was put out today, is it kind of tells you the story. It actually shows you when we were in the studio originally recording this stuff under a different band, not knowing that it was going to evolve into something so much more meaningful, and more, near and dear to the heart. And then, of course, the addition of Mischiefin as a bassist is even cooler. That's my Dark Queen. So to be able to work with her on that level, as all the other levels we work on, it's definitely a dream come true. And to be back with the DeathSlinger, I mean, there's nobody else I trust to write with, in the entire fucking universe. So, so the EP we're hoping for a spring release.
Okay.
I think that's plausible. And then we're going to be working on a more live kind of a video. And in the summertime, it would be cool to see if we can do some shows, because obviously we live in different states, and you know how that goes. But we can definitely pull it together. You could definitely catch us out there, I would say, in the summertime.
Outstanding. Let's see, DeathSlinger, do you have anything else to add before we go? Anything you think we should know? Anything to tantalize us with?
I think the thing I want to let people know is a lot of people are. I've had a lot of questions asked about. You heard the title of the song. It's The Gods Weep. A lot of people have asked me, dude, what are you talking about? And I'm just, and how I loved how you said, like, when I vibrato and ring out the notes, it sounds very sad, very emotional, very like the guitar's singing for me.
Huh?
I'm not singing. The song is this is just something I want to tell everyone so they can, get into the mood for this, to be like, yeah, I really want to check this out. That sounds interesting. The song is about someone in your life, maybe family member, maybe lover, maybe friend, maybe religious views, is that person that gave you that everything, the one that was like, I'll show you the way, I'll show you where to go, I'll guide you to the way of knowledge that you need, and then just kind of gives up on you, like drops you, just you're out in the middle of nowhere, and the only thing you do is like, for an example, how I picture this is, imagine that you're sailing on a boat in the middle of a storm. The storm, the waves are crashing, the rain's dropping, you can't see it, you don't know if you're alive or dead anymore. It's more of just like, I'm not dead, I'm not, in purgatory, but I'm lost. It's that feeling of hopelessness that you don't have, like you just don't have any hope for anything. It's just that world came crashing down, so you're left with nothing.
Maybe you should release the EP on Easter.
Happy Zombie Jesus Day.
Yes. Especially since I know the Christians would not love my Viking pagan ideologies. They would not like my faith, and they can go heck off, man.
Well, that, and you got the devil for the drummer, so
Right.
We're definitely not for the faint of heart.
I'm very, very honest about my views. If you don't appreciate it, then we're not friends. If you can't just, accept it and move on, sorry, man.
My lasting thoughts are just I really appreciate all of our friends in the underground doom scene, the metal scene across the globe since we've introduced ourselves, actually reintroduced ourselves as Iron Serpent, and everyone's been really cool and very excited about it. That teaser dropped today. There was just great response. So, we really appreciate everybody out there, you know, love, Black Tar Superstar for what it was, and enjoy those songs, and everybody that supported those records, and the fact that everybody's ready to really get the full Iron Serpent. I don't know what you'd call it. You know what I mean? They're ready to get the full thing, and it's great to see people excited and people going, "Fuck yeah, man! This is awesome! I can't fucking wait!" It's just like, whoa, yay! You didn't forget us.
Well, even
You know?
that, man, I feel like I also just want to be thankful and thank the ones who, really, supported us through this idea, and, not, pushing it away because it's not black tar. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
They're actually accepting it, and they're wanting to be ready for this, and just the ones that support us definitely love a lot from the bottom of our cold hearts, our cold black hearts.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all more than you know. That's for sure.
Sure.
Well, we really covered quite a bit of ground here, and I'm sure we'll do something like this again as things develop. Like, I'd like to talk about how you're tuning, what pedals you're using, stuff like that. We can have the Reaper talk as you guys maybe progress some more, and just keep up the interest for everybody that's watching. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into this with Reaper's Underground. Please share this shit out. Drop some comments below if this is going on YouTube, which I'm pretty sure it is. Drop some comments below. Get the conversation going. Let's get the buzz going for this. These guys have some unique form of kind of doom, fucking dreary sounding, heavy as fuck sounding metal coming for you. To everybody for joining us on Reaper's Underground tonight.
Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.
For sure.
Like always, stay.
Corpses rotting in the